Give me Joshua 1:8. The thing is having faith and believing in God. He's never going to let you go without it. And so as long as you keep his commandments, he's going to make it away. But he's not, for example, he's not going to make it easy. He's going to make sure that you believe. For example, y'all got a best friend, right?
Yeah.
In order for him to be your best friend, did it just happen because it's trust? Y'all had to go through stuff, right? Had to go through, ups and downs. You had arguments. You had, whatever fights, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? I can trust this dude based off of what we've been through. God is doing the same thing. Anywhere you go, we'll just say in the United States, right? Anywhere you go, who populates the ghettos?
Black folks.
Huh?
Black folks.
Black folks, black Hispanics, we the ones that fill these ghettos, right? Why is it that, because you've seen some of the little conspiracy theories and things like that, why is it that they push drugs in our community, which is not a conspiracy theory, it's true. They push drugs in our community, right? They give us a bad situation. And then they give us something bad, but they know we're going to take it, right? Because we already in a messed up situation, right? So why do these things happen to us, though? Like, you ever sit and wonder, like, why do these things happen to us? And the answer, what you about to say? And this is the answer. Check this out. So, according to the Bible, we are the Israelites. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites according to the Bible. And this is how we know. We're going to get a couple of curses, right? So, all these things, right, you can see these things happen to us. We were the ones affected by the slave trades, right? So, this is Deuteronomy, started 28 and verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
right,
to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he was like, look, if you don't keep my laws, which I'm telling you to do, that there's going to be curses that come upon you, right? So now, these curses are an identifier. So like, look, he's talking to the children of Israel. He's like, look, I'm telling you, if you don't do what I say, these curses are going to come upon you, right? So now let's get a couple of these curses and see who it fit. Because not everybody can claim these curses, right? So now let's get verse 32. 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Who that happen to? It said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Black people. It happened to us in 1619. It happened to Hispanics and Native Americans in 1492 under Christopher Columbus and the conquistadors, right? So, did that happen to the Chinese? Did it happen to the Arabs? Did it happen to the so-called white man? No, right? So now we're starting to identify who these curses fit and who these people really are. Read that.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eye shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long.
Right.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
So y'all remember seeing 12, like, let's say 12 Years a Slave. Y'all seen that movie? Yeah. You remember when they took that lady's daughter and she cried for her every day, wanting to get her back, right? But like I said, we wasn't going to have no might in our hand to get our children back. They took our children away, they sold them, they separated us, they put us on different plantations, and we didn't have no might to get our children back, right? This is a curse that's in the Bible. Like I said, this was written thousands of years ago. I didn't write this, right? So now you got to put two and two together. Like, okay, give me verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So Egypt, yes. So when y'all know anything about the Bible, the children of Israel was enslaved in Egypt before, right? So he said that was going to bring you into Egypt again, right? So let's see what Egypt means according to the Bible.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous for bondage. Same thing, right? So now when you go back to Deuteronomy 28:68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he's going to bring us back into slavery again with
ships.
With what?
Ships.
Who went into slavery on cargo slave ships? Black people, right? Like I said, us in 1619, Hispanics and Native Americans, they went in 1492, right? So now that you're hearing it, like, we can read another. Matter of fact, give me verse 48. Watch this. So, but, well, we're going to read that again. So it said we went to slavery on ships. We know that didn't happen to nobody else. We know that we were the ones that was sold off of cargo slave ships, the slave trade. These things happened to us. It didn't happen to nobody else, right? Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right. We have never, as a people, as a whole nation, went back to our homeland, right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Read that again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
We got off the slave ship. Who were we sold to? White man, right? So the Bible has called them our enemies, but what did we try to do for years? We tried to assimilate with them. We tried to be like them. We wanted to have the same so-called rights as them, things like that, right? But we reading out the Bible. This is what the Bible said. I didn't make this up, right? So it said we were going to be so, because think about it, if they was our friends, right? Would your friends do this to you?
No.
No, not at all. Guess what else they did? They used our babies as gator bait. They cut babies out of our women's wombs and fed them to dogs. They hung us up. They beat us. They put us on fire. They used to tar us and feather us, set us on fire, tie us to two ends of the horses, whip the horses, and separate our bodies apart. These are the things that they used to do to us, right? So the Bible said we were going to be sold into our enemies. Friends wouldn't do that. So how can we sit there and want peace? Like you have, what's that? It says, what do they say? I am a man. Why do we have to say stuff like that? Because in the Constitution, remember, it still states that black people are only 3/5 of a man. That's in the Constitution. So think about it right now. We're going to get Zechariah, 5:11? Watch this. How many of our people get shot down by police? Not even just police, but just random white people, whatever the case may be. It happens quite a bit, right? Every day, right? So now, let's say out of 100 of those cases, how many have ever been convicted?
About 2%.
It's not too many, right? Now check this out. Mind you, like I said, we didn't write the Bible, right? So now, check what the Bible says right here. Read that.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
Because who brought us into captivity? Remember we just read in Deuteronomy 28:68, it said that you should be sold into your enemies, right? So who was it that had us as slaves? White people. We still up under them right now, right? So it says whose possessors do what?
Slay them.
They kill us, read.
And hold themselves not guilty.
How many times has that happened? Breonna Taylor, not guilty. George Floyd, not guilty.
Whose possessors slay them.
So it said whose possessors kill them, slay them. Go ahead.
And hold themselves not guilty.
And they say we not guilty. Alton Sterling.
We're going on film.
Fernando Castile. Right, it's been going for years. So now check this out. I consider myself reasonable. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna sit there and say I'm a genius, but I'm like, okay, hold on. This was written.
It's common sense.
Right, yeah, this was written years ago, right?
Right.
But yeah, this letting us know what's happening today, right now.
Yes.
It said that they're holding themselves not guilty. You can go through the list of people that they killed and they never went to jail for it. This is how we know the Bible is a real book. What happened is,
It's been rewritten.
I won't say that it hasn't been written. Now, they are doing that now with the NIV. I think Disney bought the Bible. And you know what Disney is about. All the homosexual agenda and things like that, right? But this hasn't been rewritten. What happened is these same people that enslaved us, they used it against. So, for example, if you go into slavery, right? But you know who you are. You know your history, you know everything, right? But now your son, he grows up. He's never been taught that. And it's been beating you to not teach him who he is. So he grows up thinking that what? He's just black or African American, right? So now that Bible that once was yours, they took that now to use it against you. And that's what happened over generations. Our ancestors came over knowing who they were, but it was unlawful for us to teach it to our young ones. So, right, so as they grew up, they didn't know. They didn't know that the Bible was theirs. So they took the Bible and used it as a tool to keep us in slavery. But watch this. I'm going to read. Give me, and I'm going to show you how when you actually read the Bible, you start to be like, okay, have you ever seen, what is that, Birth of a Nation? With Nat Turner?
Nah, I ain't never seen it, man.
Y'all got to watch it.
Yeah,
It's a real good movie. So what happened was Nat Turner, he started reading, he was able to read. They taught him how to read. And so he started reading the Bible. And because the plantation owners were using verses in the Bible to make it seem like we were supposed to be slaves. But he would read and he like, yo, every time I read, there's something that says that y'all going to get judgment for putting us in slavery. So that's why he ended up revolting. He ended up, trying to save his people. But obviously they ended up getting him, you know what I mean? But the point is he was reading the Bible. So this is the thing, watch. This is how we know that this is our book. Read that in Revelation 13 and 9. Watch.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Right.
He that leadeth into captivity.
So it said the people that put you into captivity, read,
shall go into captivity.
Who put us in captivity? The white man. So the Bible says them people that put you in captivity, they got to go into captivity, right? Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword.
How many people? Who killed us with the sword? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Alton Sterling, Fernando Castile, Mike Brown, right? All these people who killed us, right? It said who killed us with the sword
must be killed with the sword.
So how can they say that this is their book? Because what we read, God says there's judgments for touching my people. But now the thing is, we got to keep his commandments. This is something that we haven't been doing. We sat there, we've been pushed away from the Bible. Because I grew up in the church. My dad is a pastor. I grew up in the church. And then it got to a point where I'm like, okay, well, what's being said in this Bible and what you saying is not adding up to me. So I left. I didn't believe in the Bible for a long time. But then we came along with IUIC and we started seeing these teachings like, okay, this makes sense. Now this make, I see now because you got to have somebody that, matter of fact, give me Psalms 111 and 10. In order to understand this Bible, yes, you'll have a basic understanding when you start to be enlightened, right? But then you got to start keeping the commandments in order to really understand what this Bible says. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Right.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So if you're not doing any of his commandments, the Bible says you don't have a good understanding. Right? So now what are some of his commandments? What is some of them? Anybody may know?
That's not kill. That's how obey thy mother.
Right. So basically the 10 Commandments, right? Right. So now it's in the, so I don't want to word this. So homosexuality, is that wrong? Is it written in the 10, so to speak, though? No, but how do we know it's wrong? Because it was written in, is it Leviticus 23 or Leviticus 13?
It's 20 and 13.
20 and 13, read that.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind,
right,
as he lieth with a woman,
right,
both of them have committed an abomination.
Right.
They shall surely be put to death.
So I use this as an example, meaning that a lot of the commandments, the 10 was like an umbrella, right? But then there's other laws that we read that we don't find necessarily in the 10 Commandments.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
The same same thing like let me think of another one. Idolatry, or well, that's in the 10. That's in the 10. Fornication, right? Like sleeping with animals. Can we bestiality? We can't do that, right? It's not necessarily said in the 10, but like when you hear "thou shalt not commit adultery," that covers adultery, fornication, and things like that. But it's specifically written in other places, right? So the point of me saying is that a lot of times people say, "Oh, just the 10 Commandments." No, there's more than just the 10 Commandments, right? So but now let's go to the 10 Commandments, right? Because a lot of pastors say we got to keep the 10 Commandments, right? Mm-hmm.
Remember the Sabbath day,
right?
To keep it holy.
So that is part of the 10 Commandments. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now he's getting ready to tell us when the Sabbath day is. Read that.
6 days shalt thou labor.
So 6 days we can work, we can do whatever we want for those 6 days, right?
And do all thy work.
Uh-huh.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So now, what's the very first day of the week on the calendar? Sunday, right? So now, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the 7th day, right? So why don't the pastors keep the Sabbath day? That's why, because what has been taught to them is by the same people that enslaved us. Right. Wherever you go, like whatever, what do they call them? Seminar schools. It's been taught by white people or people that have oppressed us over the years. So the Bible says that is a commandment we're supposed to keep. Now, what is some of the? So keep reading. There's specific laws on the Sabbath day, right? Read that.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them,
finish in Exodus 20 and 8. Finish that.
Verse 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Guess what? We're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. But what is one of the things? They give you overtime. Huh?
1 day of rest.
Yeah, you got to have 1 day of rest. And God said that this was that day that you should rest. Remember, hold that in Genesis. Genesis 2. Watch this. Because at the end of the day, y'all believe in God?
Yes.
Okay. So at the end of the day, if God said it, we got to do it, right?
Right.
Watch this. Read that.
The book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 2. And on the 7th day, God ended his work.
So at the end of the 7th day, it said God ended all his work, right? And what did he do?
Which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day.
And so now God says, since I rest, I'm going to bless this day. Right? Go ahead.
And sanctified it.
And he sanctified it, made it a holy day. Go ahead.
Because that in it he had rested from all his work.
So if God rested from all his work, who are we? We got to rest from all our work too. And that's why I said this is a learning phase. I used to be buying, selling, working, doing all that stuff on Saturday. Doing everything that I wasn't supposed to be doing. But now it's understanding these things. It's like, okay, now I got to change. Like there's other things. Give me the cooking.
The book of Exodus chapter 16 and verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said.
Right.
Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe.
Cooking means seethe means like you boil and cook, right? Go ahead.
And that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Right. So he said, look, it's about to be the Sabbath day. So cook what you gonna cook today, and then save it for tomorrow. Because ain't no cooking on the Sabbath day. That's the thing. We can't cook. We can't buy and sell. These are things, these were laws that were told to, that God commanded us to do. But what has society told us? Like, for example, when are all your deals and your sales at? On what days of the week?
Monday, Friday.
Friday, Saturday. That's when they be having them deals, right? Think about it too. When do most people get paid? Friday night to go into Saturday and do what? Club stuff that we ain't supposed to be doing anyways, right? So the society has set it up for us to break God's law.
Is that why barbers are shut down Sunday and Monday?
Well, you know what? I don't know why. I've never understood that.
We work on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we got 2 days off. So it's Sunday and Monday. We work Friday and Saturday. That's Monday day.
But who started that? I don't know who started that.
I don't know where it came from.
Right.
I guess for more people off on Saturday or something. You know what I'm saying?
It's a very good debate.
Right, so now we got barbers with us, right? And guess what? They still, they're not rich, you know what I mean? But they successful. They able to pay their bills and things like that. They don't cut on Saturdays, but they will do Sundays. And they will do they'll do Mondays too. Because you have, and it's just what it is that sometimes you may have a rough period. You know, people gonna try to adjust to that change. Like, oh man, now dude don't want to cut on Saturdays, whatever the case may be. But this is the thing. If God, give me Joshua 1:8. The thing is having faith and believing in God. He's never gonna let you go without. And so as long as you keep His commandments, He's gonna make it away. But he's not. For example, He's not gonna make it easy. He's gonna make sure that you believe. For example, y'all got a best friend, right?
Yeah.
In order for him to be your best friend, did it just happen just because it's trust?
Trust.
Y'all had to go through stuff, right? Had to go through, ups and downs. You had arguments. You had, whatever fights, whatever.
You had those.
But at the end of the day, you like, you know what? I can trust this dude based off of what we've been through.
Yeah.
God is doing the same thing with us.
Sir.
Just when things is good, okay, all right, He like me now. They love me now. They praying to me now. But when things get bad, what's gonna happen? You see what I mean? Read that for me.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
But it has. Think about it over the years. Like I said, I grew up in the church. I didn't want to read the Bible no more. I've been lied to with the Bible so long, I didn't want to believe
We all stir wrong.
Right. Go ahead.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night,
We supposed to meditate in the Bible day and night.
We do.
Read.
that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
So like you said, we supposed to do what is written in this Bible, but we haven't been doing it.
No, we haven't.
And this is why we in the condition now. Like when we was reading them curses, that's why we have those curses upon us. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the curses. I don't want to get, but read. I want to finish that and get to my point.
That's the guidance of wisdom.
For then thou shalt make thy way
It
prosperous,
said when you keep these commandments, when you do what the Bible says, that's when you'll make your way prosperous. Go ahead.
and then thou shalt have good success.
Then you'll have good success. So there's a success that comes from evil. You see people sell drugs, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, but what ends up happening?
It's lust, though.
Yeah, what ends up happening?
Going to jail.
Going to jail.
Prison.
And this is the thing, our mind is so corrupt. I was in the same.
Consequences.
It's consequences, right?
Consequences.
Our minds are so corrupt, and I was
Yes,
one
sir.
of them.
That's
I knew the consequences. All my family I seen, all the friends that I grew up with, I seen it, and yet I still wanted to do the same thing.
Dead and gone.
Same thing, and I'm looking at everybody going to jail, getting shot, and I'm like, and
Is it
for
worth
some
it,
reason,
though? That's what it
yeah,
says,
that's
it's
what I
worth
said. It ain't worth it, and it's by the
worth
grace
it.
of God
No,
that
it's not. You cannot
I'm here. Right, that's why I said I could have been gone with any of my
Yes,
friends.
sir. We all could have.
But now I'm here. And now I'm given this chance to
All
understand.
for a purpose.
Right? So now go back to those curses. Watch this.
Purpose.
48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48.
Again, like I said, just kind of bringing it back. We understand that we didn't keep God's laws, and these are some of the curses that came upon us. Read this curse.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
There it goes again.
Serve that enemy.
Uh-huh.
which the Lord shall send against thee.
So even though he sent them up, why?
We'll send them.
Because we chose not to keep his laws.
But y'all have choices.
Right, we had a choice. That's why, and this is the thing though, sometimes people be like, well, why did God do this? He laid it out from the get-go.
Yeah, from the get-go.
What was going to happen if we chose not to keep his commandments, right? We chose.
He gave you a choice, though.
Yeah, he gave us a
He gave you a
choice.
choice.
And what do we choose to do? Obviously.
Wrong.
The wrong thing. Read that though.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Go ahead.
In hunger,
So think about it. Yeah, some of our people own stores, and a lot of the times, even the black-owned little grocery stores that we had like that back in the day, they gone.
They're gone.
But even if you still have black-owned stores today, it said we shall serve them in hunger. They don't own the farms. They don't own the
they
shipping
don't.
companies
They don't
going
know
back
what
and
to do.
forth. Yeah, and then a lot of times the black farmers that do have farms, what do they
They've been ran
freeze
off.
them out? Yeah, they've been ran
Ran
off. They
off.
freeze them out. They don't want to buy from them.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening? They go broke. They sell the land.
They don't invest in us anyway, though.
Right. Exactly. So this the thing. We don't own none of that. It said we was gonna serve them in hunger. Who do we have to go to for our food? The white man. Go ahead.
and in thirst.
Same thing with thirst. We can't open up a beach. You know what I mean? We can't open and close a beach. We don't own Aquafina, Dasani, Fiji, none of that. Guess what? Water comes from the sky, but guess what? If we don't pay that monthly water bill, what happens?
Yeah. But God
Lights
said-
is off,
God said
right?
eat from
I mean,
fruit.
not like, but our water is
Eat
off.
from fruit anyway.
Right.
And in nakedness.
Same thing, clothes. Yeah, you got Sean John and all these other things, but they don't own the textile shipped over. Read.
And in want of all things.
Think of anything that you want. Barber's license. Who we gotta go to? You want an education? Even the HBCUs ran by right there. If you want a car, if you want a house, and guess what? If you want toilet paper, remember when COVID hit, right? With no toilet paper on the shelves, where was we gonna go? We couldn't get it from nowhere else, right? It said we was gonna serve him in the one of all things, right?
White man want to. He could kill us off, really, man. Just not selling to us, not giving to us, whatever.
Right.
We got to get everything from the white man.
Gotta get everything from him, right?
New World Order.
Watch this.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So just in case we didn't know, which y'all do, but just in case we didn't know, it said that he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Now, it wasn't just the white man. The white man was the most recent. But the Arabs did it, the Chinese did it, the Japanese did it, the Africans did it. They all did that, right? They put yokes of irons upon our neck. Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
How did he destroy us? Mentally.
Mentally.
He destroyed us mentally.
Take the strong out and the weak will follow.
Yep. Read. That's like I was saying before. The ones that would buck up and would try to revolt, they was the ones that they was pulling apart.
And the weak will follow.
Read that.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth.
Right. You didn't know who they were. Go ahead.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
What is a symbol? When you look on a dollar bill, what's that symbol?
The
eagle.
eagle.
Think about it. That's been a symbol. This is what's been prophesied in the Bible for all this time. These were the curses that was going to come upon us. I'll give you another one. Start at verse 64. Watch this. Remember when we was talking about how it said they slay us and they hold themselves not guilty? Remember we read that? Read this. This is another curse. You want 65? Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no
It
ease.
said we wasn't going to have no ease. Read.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
How many of us work? We all work, right?
Yeah.
And how hard do we gotta work?
Hard.
But think about it. You got them. They're working. They probably
They laid
sit
back
behind-
lennies.
They come.
They laid back.
They laid back. They making millions of dollars a day, right?
For us.
But it said,
Pay us minimum wage.
and guess what? It said that we wasn't gonna have no ease, and the sole of our foot wasn't gonna have rest, right? Go ahead.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
He said God was gonna give us a trembling heart. I'll give you an example. When the red and blues pop up behind you, what happens? Get nervous, right? Why do we get nervous? What's gonna happen?
Y'all put on last week, gone.
Look, I'm telling you, and I've been in that situation before too. We've all been in that situation. And it's crazy because we don't know if this is going to be our last time. And guess what's going to happen? The narrative is going to be switched. We could have been doing our own thing, but the narrative is going to be, oh, he was a thug, he sold drugs, he did this, he did that, right? That's what's going to happen, right? So it said he was going to give us a trembling heart. Nobody else did that happen. So think of all the people that think about white people that jog up and down all day. They ain't got no worries. They got no earpods in. They running. They ain't got a care in the world. We can't do that.
Can't walk with the hoodies on. They tackle us.
Like, that's what I was
The other day,
check this out.
right there on 7th Street, the black boys in the hoodie, they tackle them. Yeah, you see that?
It's funny that you said that because I was just getting there to say, think of all the things that we're taught as black kids what not to do.
Right.
And that was one of the things my dad said, don't walk around with no hoodie on, especially in the store. Keep your hands out your pocket.
Hands in your pocket. My mom was there. Hands in your pocket.
Keep your hands out your pocket. If you have to drive at night, don't let it be no more than 2 people. Don't ride with a lot of people.
I always say the stereotype.
Yeah, and he don't want me out at night, period, though. And these are the things that we taught. We've been given a trembling heart because we know that we have not got no ease under our oppressors.
Right.
Go ahead.
And failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind,
Right.
and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
It said our life shall hang in doubt before thee. Go ahead.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
We got no assurance of our life. We don't know. We don't know.
They kill us anytime they want to.
Anytime.
And get off with it.
And get off, like we read, they kill us and hold themselves not guilty.
Take their own.
And so this is the thing, like we have to start realizing now, okay, everything that's going on in the world, the Bible is the solution. Give me Ecclesiastes, the end 12. What is it, at the end of it all, what is it that we have to do? What is the main thing that we have to do in order to get right with God? Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
At the end of the day, what do we got to do, right? Read.
Fear God and keep His commandments.
That's the main thing. We have to keep His commandments.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support